All right, hello everyone. My name is Musa and I chose the visitor pattern. So let me first start by bringing up a scenario. We know that there's different categories of perfume. We have woody or aquatic or citrusy. And let's say a user wants to return common notes based on that category. So fruity, for example, would return pineapple or melon. There's a way to do this, we know how, by just creating an abstract class and then having the concrete methods override or concrete classes override the method, the return sense method. And that works, but with more classes or more methods, things can get complicated. We might have like a really big if statement just sorting through all of them. So there's a better way to do it. One thing I want to bring up is the different principles to consider. So we have the single responsibility and open close principle. And what single responsibility says is that one class should just do one job. So the Woody class should just focus on creating a Woody object. Let's not worry about additional functionalities that are stretching outside of the class. Open close principle says that we should build on classes by extending them, but not by modifying them. So if we look back here, if we had to modify all of these separate classes, it would take a while and it wouldn't work for, well, bigger and bigger projects. Another thing I want to talk about is the idea of single versus double dispatch. So we know what single dispatching is, and that's just when the specific method call return depends on the object that referenced it. And this is supported in C++ and Java. So let's say you created a car object and a truck object, and they're both part of the abstract vehicle class. The method set is going to be different based on the car or truck. Now let's talk about double dispatching. So here, the method call is going to depend on the combination of instances. So for the bottom line, we have car.set truck. So it's depending on the object that called it and the object that's an argument. And that's not supported in C++. So that's where the visitor pattern comes in. And so we want to use this when we want to call methods of related classes. So in this example, all the different fragrance categories. And we want to separate the algorithm and behaviors from the class itself. And then we want these classes to exist as arguments to method calls, which is going to make more sense in a bit. So one thing about the visitor is that we have accept and visit methods. And the visit method is just the specific method calls you're making. So there's going to be a visit woody and a visit citrus that's going to be specific. What one thing we need to change to the concrete classes is giving each one of them an accept method. And all it does is pass an instance of itself to the visit methods. And so we're letting the specific objects deal with like the dynamic assigning or the specific assigning at runtime. And then just some more components to go over. We have the client who's just dealing with the controls. We have the visitor who just defines all the classes that are going to be visited. And then a concrete visitor who talks about the specific methods we're going to use. So for example, we're having a sent visitor. You could also have a price visitor. Visitable just defines the accept method, and concrete visitable are just all the classes we're working on. So citrus or fruity or whatever. We can put all that into a UML diagram. So we have the different concrete classes. They all have a method to accept, and that's just going to call the concrete method in the sent visitor. All right, so I also want to show just a quick demo. So here we have different classes for all our fragrances. And then we also have a sent visitor class that's just it's going to take your input and just attach some common notes. So if I go into visitor test, we already have a few set up, but let me just make a third one. So this could be fruity, Then it can make fragrance. Oops. Then I can just say, all right, so let's see what this does. Okay, so here we have the notes we passed, which are specific to Nautica, but then we also have the common notes based on the category attached to it. So we can see that for right here. So bamboo and white lotus, but then it also passed the standard ones. All right, that is the visitor pattern. Thank you.